teach them to respect you, they'll do it. They'll do it. So I say no to gerrymandering by Meg Whitman. Kenya deserves respect. Our sovereignty is not something they should tamper with. That constitution is among the things they're using. So I want to fully disagree with that statement. I've seen like Ethiopia. You go to the ground, you talk to these people.
In fact, let me just interject you a little bit before you even complete. I mean, I'm struggling to listen and understand and relate this to what Risasi said. I think if I had Risasi right, because Risasi is still here, Risasi did not say that. Actually, what you are saying is Kenyans, the leadership needs to stand up to people like Meg White. So if Meg White is meddling in the Kenyans' affairs, how is that our problem? The problem is the leadership. So the person who is to blame is the leadership. That is what Risasi was saying. And that's why Risasi was saying the choice of leadership is our problem. So Risasi was trying to say, even if we bring in Meg Black, Meg Red from America, Meg Yellow, and we still have the same leadership, we will have the same problem. The leadership that has a problem. Thank you.
I want to disagree on that. It is not solely about leaders. It is about the citizen understanding their worth and standing by it.
No, but how is that our problem when I never voted for Ruto? How is that my problem? But anyway.
Oh, so you're not Kenyan because if the candidate...
No, let me just give... Hiyo tu ni banta. Usitake hiyo seriously. But anyway, sikupigia Ruto kura. My point is...
But there are countries... Risasi, you're just right. I mean, how is that your problem? It is not the problem of the citizens, nothing. The problem is the leadership and the choice of leadership.
Let me just clarify nothing.
I think it's getting to a borderline.
Let me just clarify nothing, Nini. Even just to be objective here. Can't we agree that there are countries...
I think it came from...
There are countries... I'm just responding then our Chair Justice because it's very disrespectful. There are countries that are friends of USA and they are successful. Why do we try to create this impression that if you're involved with USA, then you're automatically bad? I mean, we have the likes of Qatar, we have the Saudi Arabia, we have the UAE that are employing us. They are with USA and they're successful. So, in other words, you have to fix your problem. If you fix your internal problems, countries like Saudi Arabia, they are friends of USA, but huko wanafanya vitu zenye hata nini USA haiwezi kubali kwao, but they are still friends because their leaders are very responsible for what is happening inside the country. But as long as American interests inakuja, they align up with it. So our issue should be, let's fix ourselves. We should not blame, and this is a problem that I've been having even with this protest. Ruto anaenda kuwa watu mnakuja kublame Raila tio alisign deal na Ruto o alipatiana intellectuals kwa government. No. We should be very ready to take responsibility for our political actions. If you vote somebody bad, expect bad results. If you vote somebody good, expect good results. I mean, it's our responsibility. Na mkiendelea hivi, wacha sitamaliza hiyo, nitakuja baadaye. I have got a point yenye siku nataka kusema juu nilijua itarattle watu. But nitakuja watu wenye walikuja nyuma yangu wakiongea.
Cook. Just cook.
Okay, the point yangu ni, from what I've just seen today, 2027, there's no way millennials and Gen Z can win against Ruto. It's just evident from what we saw today that rural votes is a big thing. So 2027, prepare for Ruto's presidency. That is just how I saw it.
Nothing naweza enda after Risasi kidogo tu because mimi ni voter Kenya. Mimi unajua ni voter Kenya. Mimi siendi kuvote US alafu nakuja kutaka kuwa president Kenya. I'm
confused about if I misheard. Was it a statement that I didn't hear correctly? That is that the previous speaker said that justice for all is disrespectful. I wanted to be clear that
no nilikuwa nasema sitaki kuwa disrespectful, niongee before justice.
Okay, perfect. Because I do not want to be disrespectful. These are my brothers and sisters. Every conversation here, I take it as a brotherly and sisterly conversation that really is I've been very patient waiting because I have a lot of things to respond to. So I wanted to make sure that you don't call me that disrespect. I can never disrespect you, Kogwino. You know that.
We know that, Justice. Thank you very much. Let me say this. Nothing. I think hizi vitu tumekuwa tukisema hapa kwa spaces and I hardly take microphone in these revolution spaces nowadays. Why? Because the people on these spaces now, that is from like everyone else, so long as Okokwa spaces, and maybe most of the people that come to the speaker panel, because now those are the people that we engage most with, hawataki kuambiwa the truth. And the truth is we have a long way to go. I remember the last time I was on a space, niliambiwa mimi nimeingia ODM and I want to vibe a political seat, so nauzia watu uoga. The people who called me that, they were saying that because I told them they were trying to form some kind of military thing to combat the abductions, to prevent people from being abducted. Since they formed that military, or they purported to be forming that military, Aoko was abducted, Atuju kwenye ako sahi, and some other people have still been abducted. And we were telling them, that thing is very impossible because sahi kwenye mimi niko hapa kwa ghetto hapa, wewe real Joe uko hapo kwenye huko Kileleshwa, nothing, sijui uko wapi, uko Westlands, Wanjiru, wherever you are, hata kama ni Germany, ukikuja kuwa abducted, what time will you dial that 911 to appear Kowino? Kowino, I'm being abducted, kuja utusaidie na hiyo jeshi yako. What time will we come to your rescue? So hizi ni vitu nilikuwa naambia watu saa zingine ziko impossible. Like we have to employ like realistic solutions to these problems. Sahi tumeka hapa kwa hii space, it's good we have this space, and it's good we've spent like most time of our day discussing the American election and how when we kick out Meg Whitman, it will make Ruto the best president Kenya has ever had. But it's funny because, like I've said, and I'll still say this time and again, tukienda ballot, God was on the right side. I don't know if God is supposed to be on the left or on the right. Nothing utaniambia ama John Seremani will come to tell me. God was on either side and emotions was on the other side. And I'll still say this, maybe watu wataniita nimejoin ODM, but the elections was about punishing Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta, because Uhuru Kenyatta told people Ruto will be a bad president. So when people went to the elections, they wanted to punish Uhuru and Raila, and they wanted to elect a bottom-up man, hustler atawale, hustler atawale. Sai hii lawama tumerushia kila mtu. Oh, Raila amesalimiana na Ruto. But what would you do? Wewe, what would you do? Like, tutakuja hapa space, we lie all we want at mimi hata space salimiana. But you don't understand that most people hata hapa saa hii venye tunaongea kwa hii space, maybe wengine wako na kazi. Some of us are jobless. Do you think kesho Ruto akikuofa PS utakataa na unaenda kulipa mshahara, familia yako haitakuwa inateseka? Yes, 90% of you here will come here to the space and say no, mimi siwezi chukua hiyo kazi, because you want to please the crowd. You will take that job. Stop lying to us. Just accept the truth. Uko jobless, umepewa kazi hata ya PS ama umepewa kazi unalipwa hata 100 Gs ama 200 Gs, 200 kgs and blah blah blah. Utakataa. So the problem with us, we want watu wanakuja hapa kwa space kwa masajawa ego. Ikifika 2027 Ruto anaingia asubuhi venye Trump aliingia asubuhi, mlikuwa mmelala hapa sijui saa ngapi. Trump yeye alikuwa shaingia anapatiana speech yake pale ya ushindi. And I've told you guys on this space, yes, people wanasema revolution, we will vote. How many people when you wanna interact now say when you are elections wako hata na voters card? Have you asked yourself that? We have to look for like realistic solutions to this problem. Ruto is not your average politician. Kama Moi alichapa 24, Uhuru, who probably was your average politician, alichapa 10 years. You think Ruto mwenye alikuwa government haikuwa inamtaka na government ikashikana na Raila ikaemploy machinery yote hadi the incumbent alikuwa anamkampeinia na bado akashinda presidency. You think sasa akiwa kama alikuwa tu deputy and like ule deputy mwenye hata government haimtaki, leader wake hamtaki, you think sasa sisi tuna kelele kwa space and all blah 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 tunaweza kumtoa kwa presidency? Again, some of us we don't walk hapa Kenya. We don't walk. Like hatutembeagi Kenya. We don't even go to the counties, like the different counties, we interact with people and blah blah blah. Yes, I'm privileged. Mi natembeaga. Mi hata a month ishangi kama sijaenda ushago, sijaenda maybe hata 3 counties Kenya. Si ati niko na pesa by the way. Mi ndio maana hata sichangagi. But the question is, if you go to those counties and interact with those people, ushaijua ground inasema nini? I was telling you guys the other day, ground is very different from what we talk in these spaces. Ground is very hostile to what we think it is. The other time, nakumbuka when Morara alikuwa ameanza niliwaambia it's not going to be what you people think. Nilipigwa vita nikasema wewe uko against the government, uko kwa payroll ya government. Hapa tu kwa this very same space yenye niko sahihi imeandikwa title inasoma breaking news : Trump are sounding, Trump wins. Trumpets are sounding, Trump wins. Nimetoka kuambiwa I'm on maybe payroll ama niko ally wa USA because nimetoka kusema ukweli. Hata Meg Whitman akitoka shida zetu zitabaki the same. Nimeambiwa niko na ally wa USA. Now what I was telling you the other day, tulia bana. I was telling you the other day, you guys, that if these things happen, hata Trump akinini, hata tukisema Ruto must go. Kuna mtu alikuja kwa space hiyo siku akaniita, wewe kwanza ni project sijui nini, nikamuuliza okay, you are saying Ruto must go. What? Utatoa Ruto aje wewe na kura yako moja? Because ukienda kwa ground, Ruto must go is not a solution to Ruto must go. Ukienda kwa ground huko, these politicians wenye mnafikiria ni average politicians mtawatoa 2027 au wanachapa kazi. Unajua that 1% of work you think they are doing and unafikiria is not enough, to the people in the ground is actually enough. Na wakielekta watu back, watakuwa tu bado wamelemaza Kenya. Then when I tried to come with my solution, nikiwaambia the only reason to make Ruto a weak president is to focus on the National Assembly, people were like, no, Ruto ndio must go. Okay, asipoenda sasa tunaanzia wapi? Because tutakuwa na parliament yake na bado yeye hajaishia. Where do we start? We don't have contingency plan. Yako na contingency plan. Contingency plan yake number 1 mulimsurprise 25th June. Na akajua kumba watu wanaweza fanya hivi. Now I need to work on some things. Akaenda kufungua makisiagi huko Kisii. Do you think Kisii is not talking well about him? I was in Kisii last month. Kisii is actually sahi iko aligned. Wewe umeona nani Simbarati akipigana na Osoro? Sasa jua ground iko kama if Simbarati apigani na Osoro inamaanisha ODM na UDA au wako sawa. Watu wameshashiba. Sasa ground imeshiba. Mbona hizo watu walikuwa wakipigana? No. So hata tukisema Meg Whitman must go, venye tu Riljua amewaambia Meg Whitman, Meg Whitblack, Meg whatever, with any color, indigo or anything, hata akiishia, will it solve our problems? Nimesema hivyo nikaambiwa, me I'm not saying Meg Whitman is not the problem. I have not said she's not the problem. Just listen to understand. Don't listen to reply ama to type hapo kwa comment section ama kunijibu. I have not said she's not the problem. I'm just saying if she's the problem, akiishia sahi, do you think mwenye atakuja Kenya ambassador wa US, so long as that embassy is still there, kuna United States embassy to Kenya, inamaanisha it is there to serve the interest of the United States of America, not of Kenya. So long as anyone who comes mwenye atakuwa hapo, venye risasi amewaambia Meg Whitman alimit Raila na bado alimit nani, but because we are too blind to focus sahi kwa election ya America, tuna feel hapana yeye amekuwa tu side ya Ruto. No, hata Raila angeshinda, hata Wajakoya, hata nani angekuwa tu hiyo side. Au wanaweitu kadi yao tu, bora hiyo joker card iko in play, they are good to go. So with or without Meg Whitman in Kenya, are we able to solve our own problems? We make bad choices at the ballot, then we come here and rant and say hapana, huyu ndiye ameleta hizi shida, hapana Mungu. If I'm God, like I told you guys, if I was God right now, I'd really be smiling and I'd be happy that Kenyans are going through what they're going through, because maybe this is the learning curve yenye tunahitaji. We need to suffer so much mpaka to learn that next time hapana tusivote mtu maybe because he is a thief, but he is our own thief, to vote mtu because he can deliver. If Meg Whitman is the problem and Ruto is not the problem, Ruto, if he's man enough, na nimesema hapa the other time, the last time I had the mic, if Ruto is the problem, if Meg Whitman is the problem, mnataka kusema Ruto wasn't man enough to ambia Meg Whitman, no, if finance bill is not good for my people, I don't want it. So it's not about Meg Whitman. Kama Ruto pia anashiba, he doesn't care. If he's, kama mfuko yake inajazwa na vitu zenye pia anataka zinakuwa fulfilled, he doesn't care. So let us make good choices at the ballot so that we don't cry about other nations having interest in our country. If we make good choices at the ballot, we will never have these conversations at who is not working. Saa hii nikiwauliza wenye mumesema Trump ashinde, who is the full name of, what is the full name of Trump's deputy president? Hamujui? Trump. Nimeland. Hata nimelandia ndege imelamba hata ghafla nimelandia hapo.
Kowina, I have so much beef. I have so much beef with what you're saying. I have so much beef. And this is not fair because I'm not going to say anything. It's not fair. I have a lot of beef with it.
Nothing and Muitani nyuma ya tent. Let's call Mr. Cool. Mr. Cool has been here for a while. Mr. Cool has been here for a while.
Mr. Cool and then differently able.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Mr. Cool. It was supposed to be a party, but my goodness.
I'm sorry, guys. I slept on you. I just found myself having passed out. Was keeping up with the.
You needed it.
Yeah, but now I'm back to life. I still need some coffee, but we'll make it happen. So now I've been listening to, the sidelines, and when I came in, I had just wanted to interject a little bit because I came in when the house was on fire and everything was going chaotic and all that, and I remembered when we had just had a while ago, we had a really, really beautiful conversation with Lini Ngugi and a couple of people who were here, and the discussion was really informative and it was organized and all that. And I wish that we actually make this forum, to be the same and all that, because even unwillingly, if we do not watch out, then we can easily, make the discussion to become, narcissistic in a way, because it basically turns, the conversation to either one person or two people, and in the process, monopolize the discussion. And that one just doesn't end there, but it basically disregards the thoughts and feelings of whatever people who are represented and people who might be having, the same views that hope to benefit from that conversation. So I just ask that, when a subject is ongoing or a discussion is going over a specific issue, how I would wish that we can circle around, hear other people and all that, and we can always circle around and come back to it. But if it has gone like 5 minutes on the same two people and all that, it just completely disregards others. That's one thing. The other one, I wouldn't want to, get rooted deeply into the raging discussion about, the ambassador representing the interests of the sending country. But personally, and this is, entirely subjective, I think as much as I believe that, an ambassador represents the interest of the sending country, I believe that they are also human beings. They land in a country and they relate with other people. They become close to other people. And in this regard, I would like to think politicians are, the main people who, surround them. Some of them become really close with politicians. They, become comfortable with each other. They talk about personal interests and all that. And as much as they push about the policies of the sending country, but also they pick up, business interests, personal business interests and all that. And in the process, you find that ambassadors or representatives from sending countries, end up representing countries differently. Take an example of Smith Hemston. I think he was, ambassador to Kenya, like towards the end of the 80s to about 93. I could be wrong. But he was really a vocal proponent of democracy, and he advocated for free elections for Kenya, in the light of what we just had, Meg Whitman was, completely the opposite. Let's, go back to Michael Reneberger. He represented the interests of his sending country, which was the US. But he ended up actually even falling in love with some Kenyan woman. I can't remember too much of it, but I remember he started going out with a Kenyan woman. So we can't say that, going out with the Kenyan woman was one part of the interest of his sending country, but he had his, interests as well. And I think that he ruffled feathers quite a bit, with the leaders then. And I don't know what I remember much about him, but he did not worry much about upsetting the Kenyan politicians with his demands that they clean up corruption. Uh, and then in the process, people he had long criticized and pushed, they started pushing back with demands that the then President Obama sent him back early. And how did this go? He was accused of actually going out of his way to portray Kenyan leaders as corrupt. And they say that he had run out of ideas. And it made Kenya-America relationship not as cordial as it were. And then, if we reflect well, when Obama, whose father was from Kenya, had just entered the White House, as Kenyans, we had hoped that, his country would join into a special kind of relationship, with Kenya. But if anything, we saw that the US went pretty hard and stepped up its criticism for Kenya corruption, with Rebecca leading the way. And the viral erupted in December after WikiLeaks released, I think it was like January 2010, the capo in which the ambassador allegedly had said that President Mwai Kibaki and Prime Minister then, Raila Odinga, were among the political elites who had benefited from the, support of impunity and lack of accountability. And they hadn't made any significant steps, against the high level corruption, which was really, really rampant. And though Renebaka, refused to comment on the cables, he acknowledged that he had taken an activist approach to diplomacy. He openly supported the agenda of the Kenyan people to bring about a real change. And the people noticed and really supported him. So as Kenyans, we are not like, we are not stupid. When we have a representative that represents our interests, we know. And when we get rock ambassadors who advocate for their policies, but then on the other hand, push for their agendas and all that, or do not represent us correctly, we know. I think that we are smart enough to know that much. That's my submission. And I land.
I just happen to be very tired, but Mr. Kula, I was going to celebrate you, but I don't have the energy. Anyhow, that was a good submission. Yes, we were together earlier in my space. Before it dropped, we had such a good time. No excessive energy. There was no aggression. We disagreed and we learned a lot. But hey, we cannot be the same. It will make life very boring. Differently able. But Mr. Cool, it's good to see you. And yes, I'm celebrating Trump's win. And for me, I honestly don't care about the policies, foreign policy. It's time for Africa to rise. Differently able, please. Then Risasi, I'm not done with you.
Yes.
I'll be back
So,
after Kim.
hi guys. Long time no speak. Anyway, thanks for the space. Wanjiru, nothing, and the real Joe. So, my take on the American election is how America will now push for if America will continue the same speed for this global agenda, mass vaccination, vaccinating everything, and GMO mosquitoes and all this stuff that they are doing, weather modification and all that. So for me, it's a global agenda. When will the World War III start? Do they want a World War III? What are they going to do with Israel, which is wiping out Gaza? So in a way, America has a position militarily superior and politically, and also influence in the media. Those who control America have decided that they'll use it to their benefit. So as a country, I don't know if people are even mentally ready for what's coming, because for those who survived the pandemic, it was not a pandemic, it was a pandemic. So those who survived it and those who understood what happened, the agenda for the world is very different. People think that that everything is normal. The things that are happening are not normal. And I fear that the average Kenyan has probably no idea what's happening, or doesn't even care, couldn't even care less. And we're in a position whereby I would urge, or I would want people to not even focus on the masses of the people, because what I've learned the years have been so-called fighting or working for people is that majority of the people you even fight for don't even appreciate that. That's why you see people like our politicians, they don't give a damn about the country, they don't give a damn about the people. Because if we were to really assess Kenyans brutally, and I'm all for having somebody tell me the brutal truth, then lie to me so that I can feel good. If we were to assess Kenyans brutally, Kenyans don't even deserve good leaders. You know, that's the harsh reality. That's the very harsh reality. I would even ask, guys, you who think you want good governance, proper whatever, look at a county, invade that county, take over that county, be like uni county, yawase, right thinking, proper, you know, whatever, and take all, you know, like, you know, colonize it. Like the way in 1947, the so-called Jews went to Israel or Palestine and colonized that place and decided in year two. You know, that kind of thing. Ama the way the British came to and the Europeans came to Africa and came and colonized it. We say this is our place, and say we control all the policies and all that. Then you kind of have a community. That being said, probably that's a stretch, but as a people, community-wise, we are very broken, you know. That's why when sometimes people say, we must do this, we must do this, I even ask myself, who is this we? Because we are online, and frankly, I'm tired of online. By the as I'm almost quitting these online things, because it's like we're just giving every NIS and or NSA and whatever information. I'm going to go back to my roots, nikuwe mrasta, no technology, no nothing. Nikuwe tuko kwa msitu. Yani, design, I mean, these phones we have, do you know how much they can do with this phone? Karina wants your email number. Do you know what they can do with that? I'm even wondering, why are we even here? Because if we have never met on the ground, had to meet on the ground, we're not moving anything on the ground. Tunakuda up just to do what we call word salads, you know, this and that. Oh, sijui nini, mtu anakuja na top point ya nguvu, then we feel good. Words are words, guys. So in the end, I think guys should just form communities, strong communities strong enough that you can even educate, homeschool your children as a community. Provide your own food as a community. I encourage you to look at what some Americans are doing. They call themselves preppers. Like if World War III or some disaster strikes, there are people who are prepared. Like they are very prepared for a disaster. Most Kenyans are not. Ukienda place kama Iceland, Kayole, and all the people are living on top of each other. If an earthquake hit, a disaster hit, we'd be so messed up. There's a guy who used to go to Campo with. He used to be the son of a military man. He told me, the way I look at, and that's in uni, and he told me, I'm so shocked that as a university, we don't do disaster training. We don't do disaster drills because anything can happen, Westgate, whatever, anything can happen. And we are so unprepared. I don't even know I don't know. Do people know how so unprepared we are? We are sitting ducks for anything, I can tell you. The key here is that, like, get real. Stop this online kelele nini. Go down kwa ground vile, I don't know, is it Kowino amesema, go down kwa ground, get things moving on the ground. And in fact, I don't know if politically we can make change. I think the only thing you can do practically is, as much as possible, try to form communities of people who support each other, because as far as I can see, the global agenda is going to go on, whether Trump is in or is out, because there are people who finance Trump. If you look at those people who finance Trump, you'll understand what I'm saying. So it's going on. It's going on, maybe not as fast as it would with Akina Biden and Akina whoever, but it's still going to come. It's the system is the system, So let's get practical. Me, I don't even want to talk about Ruto must go and all that. Me, I'm thinking of other things bigger than that, because at the end of the day, when you don't have food, the supply chain has broken down. If you guys know what happened in COVID, if you can learn from COVID peke yake, then maybe you would understand what I'm talking about, because if things get real, especially the World War situation thing, if that gets real, hey bro, we are so unprepared. That's what I can say.
Thank you so much. Can we have Brenda? I think it's been a minute since we had a lady's voice.
I was going for Brenda. In fact, I almost begged differently able to allow. Yeah, Brenda, this testosterone is messing up the space. Kindly.
Thank you very much.
Nothing, you're discriminative against me. That's fine. Nakujua. Mianza kukuona sasa. Kwa umbali. It's okay. We Brenda, go. And then I will deal with this Shiro and nothing from distance.
But you have not. Kungino is the reason why I feel like the testosterone is too much. Brenda, please.
It's not my testosterone.
Is that a hint? Is that a hint to anything?
Heck no. Get out of town. Brenda, please.
I'm very happy today that Trump has won. First of all, he's going to bring back order in this NATO issue. Yeah, the war will at least end. I'm very, very happy. Yeah, he will bring peace at least in the world. That's why I was praying that he wins, because Europe is a real mess because of everything is happening with Ukraine. Because of Ukraine, that's why the oil price has gone up. Yeah. And we should just say, thank God he has won. Secondly, I'm also very happy because he was against Bill Gates. At least it's a milestone for all of us. And thirdly, I think as a NATO ally, Kenya, I'm 100% sure Trump is going to review everything Ruto has been doing with the Americans, especially the Haiti thing. So it's going to be a very, very different game from now on. It's either, I know he's going to ally with the Russians. When you just have to look a bigger picture of it, yeah? The issue about he's going to stabilize, he's a businessman also. He knows how things work in the business world. So he's going to bring a lot of peace because he's a very neutral person. He will try and work with the Russians, he'll try and work with the Chinese, he will try and work with people from Japan, with the Iran, he will try and work with the Israel. So it is a positive change. And for Kenya, I wish this evil man could not be too much engaged with the USA because he had to. Me, I'm just happy. Let me leave it at that. Thank you.
Hey, Brenda, even me, I'm happy. Hey, you ask Mr. Kulu, we were so excited.
Nothing. Leo nitaongea Kikisii because I have to be given a chance to respond to this nonsense. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's like I feel like the Holy Spirit is speaking to me to respond to this thing. What in the world just happened in a few seconds? Okay, nothing. Go ahead, but please, after you give 3-4 people, give me a chance to respond to this. What in the world did Brenda just say?
I said it because I know what I am saying. And
I am here with you.
Thank you, Brenda.
My dear. I'm here with you.
I'm
here with you.
Brenda,
No
Brenda,
fight.
Brenda.
No
Mr.
fighting.
Cool.
No fighting.
Brenda, let me pick this
Mr.
up
No
for you.
fighting.
I'm really
Brenda,
happy he has won it because the rules of the NATO is going to change. That is period. That's why I'm very happy. Because the time he was president, he wanted to change this thing of NATO. We could not be in all this shit in the moment the way we are in the world. That is the fact, whether you like it or not. It is not about Kenya. It is about everything to stabilize everything in the world, to stabilize the prices, to stabilize the food security. Do you know what happens in the UK? Ukraine. Ukraine is the biggest producer of corns. And through this war, it has messed up everything. This thing had to happen so that we get a neutral person to end this. Do you know how much Europe spends on this war? Do you know how much people who stay in European pay taxes to finance this bullshit war? You don't know. That is why I'm glad he can come back and bring a little bit order in the world. Thank you.
Ndio nasema mmenifanya mpaka nimecall off kazi, nimecall off work kwa sababu ya nothing and Blender and Wanjiro. Sasa hapa, let's go head to head until we get the solution. I am here now. I'm not even taking time off.
Justice, a minute. I want to back up Brenda for a simple reason. There is actually a video on my TL where this Mzungu guy was explaining how we were hoodwinked about the non-NATO ally. He said, this is how, let me tell you, it's so disrespectful. But this is how you hoodwink African leader. You give them a charade. You promise them money that you eventually will not make. And he said that Kenya was supposed to get about 13 billion. They were given 2 billion US dollars to get boots into Haiti, and they're never going to see another coin. I was very, very upset to hear that. Another one was saying, oh, you know, these Africans, they are unable to manage themselves. It is time for us to go back and colonize them and bring order and development. You say, when you look around the continent, it's just poverty. And you're here telling us what? Anyway, justice, have your way. Injustice, have your way.
Ni sawa tu, Mungu anakuona. You're injustice. It's okay. But anyway, I
you said
no.
nonsense. How can I call you justice when you use words like nonsense?
Okay, please, I withdraw that. Honestly, did I use that in reference to Brenda? Is that what I did?
Imagine right after
oh my
submission.
gosh. Brenda. Oh. My stand on these things. My thinking is that I think we are giving so much credit, which at some point for me, I give it from a biased standpoint in terms of the trumpets are sounding Trump wins. And there are only three people I give congratulations to, and that's Shiro, Nothing, and I don't know who else supports that thing. Nobody supports that except for you two, by the way, Shiro, you don't know. So please, congratulations that you do that. And again, a win is a win. It doesn't matter to me. But then the implication in terms of the world is, I think, where Brenda is coming in by really dropping very heavy statements of what we think that is going to happen, that is going to review several things. I think Brenda talked about Bill Gates. I think the one that I'm more interested is the issue of NATO. Brenda, and I would